How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we've got a bit more of a discussion video for today for some Fusion World content, and that is a bit of discussion about the 4 new challenges that enter the arena when we get Set 2. Because if you didn't know, Set 2 is due to come out in May and brings a load more cards. It brings only 4 new leaders, so 4 new challenges that enter the arena of the meta. And with that, we get 1 of each color, because currently there's only 4 in the game, 4 colors in the game so far, but we will get a 5th color being black, as we see from the distributor information in set 3. But that one seems to also only have 4 leaders, so it'll be interesting to see if that is correct, or if we get 5 leaders, so we get 1 for each color, because there's a starter deck coming out with the set 3 being a black one, so we've got that there. Now, before we get into it and basically go over the 4 leaders we're going to get, because we've seen them all, because Bandai thankfully give us a look at all 4 leaders before going to the rest of the reveals. They did reveal a leader and 3 cards for each day, but now we get to see what they do and kind of have speculation a bit better regarding what the leaders do. But before we get into this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out greatly. And also, if you do subscribe and hit the notification bell, you can get alerts to when my videos do drop by clicking that button, and also then getting them there and then or at a later time to watch. So with that out of the way, let's get to the video and check out what the 4 leaders are. And we'll start off with the first one being red and go in color order. So, starting off with red, we've got, yeah, that's right, another Goku lead in the same color, red. So 4 of the 4 red leaders we'll have when Set 2 drops, 3 of them will be Goku. Sure, there'll be different forms, being Super Saiyan Blue, and Super Saiyan God, but still it's 3 of the same character on leaders. Well, the same character on 3 different leaders in the same color, which I guess Goku is the main character in the Dragon Ball. It's like the whole thing is all about Goku, but having him in different colors would make sense. Like different colors having a Goku lead would make more sense, but all in the same color, that seems a bit crazy, because he's not just in the Tournament Power arc, he's also in different arcs as well, and different sagas in the series, but they decided to put him more in red. And even if you look at the lead, what the lead doesn't really revolve around Universe 7 or Goku himself. It could be any other character and still the effect would make sense. But they've gone to give us a Goku, but it's nice to get at least a different form. At least they're doing different forms for this, which is good. Not just the same form in the same color, that would seem quite bad. And he's got the same stats as the majority of leaders in the game, where he goes from 15k on the Unawakened to 20k on the backside. And he's a draw leader as well, so we don't get another crit leader in red, because he's just on both sides. When attacking, draw 1 card, a really nice effect to have, and what majority of them have. And the crit leads, well, there was some kind of views on them being bad, being pretty good, being busted. They have done pretty nicely, but we've got no more for this color in this game, at least so far. And also, he does have a slightly different awakening than normal, because most of the awakenings, or majority of the awakenings in the game, have been when you unites at 4 or less, draw a card, flip over. We have 2 different ones in that, being Ginyu and Broly, where Broly wraps a card when he gets 4 or less life instead of drawing, and then Ginyu untaps an energy at same thing, 4 or less life instead of drawing. And with this one, the only difference is it's still draw, but it's when your life's at 3 or less, you draw a card and flip the card over. So awaken at 3 or less life rather than 4. So that's a little bit more dangerous. So it's a little bit lower than you might want to go. And then when you're on the right side, you get the new effect. Remember, that's the whole thing with Fusion World is you kind of pick which color leader you want based on the color identity, or sometimes it just comes down to the leader. Like you pick the color you want, and then you pick a leader based on what the effects do, because each of them have the same kind of thing the majority of the time, but then when they awaken and go onto their backside, that's when they have a different effect that's unique to them. And for Goku's, his unique now effect is activate main once per turn for 1 energy and discarding 1 card from your hand. The status cost, you got pen energy in each card. You get to play up to 1 battle card with 20k power or less and Tournament of Power in its special traits from your hand. So that is a new trait we've got from Set 2, being Tournament of Power. Like, none of the Set 1 stuff have Tournament of Power, so unfortunately none of the Set 1 stuff kind of vibe with this kind of effect. But we're getting more of Tournament of Power traits in there, so even though we're getting new Tournament of Power cards, there's still some good Universe cards coming out in the new set that could be put with some of the older stuff. But now Tournament of Power has got like a new theme, like we saw if you've ever played Masters. They didn't have Universe traits until we got in like a fair few sets in. They started bringing the Universe trait, but then older stuff didn't have it, so it didn't have as much meshing with the newer stuff. So Tournament of Power is like that, where it's a new trait that we haven't seen in Set 1, but you can introduce in Set 2. And it's pretty cool. It's all going to depend on what these cards do, because you're restricted to only being 20k power or less. It doesn't matter about cost, it just matters about power, which is a main thing with red. It doesn't really care about cost and things like that. It more cares about the power of a card, because it's all about influencing the power on cards with red's identity. So if a battle card has 20k power, 20k power or less, and 12 power in its special trait, you can play it off this for basically by paying one and ditching a card. You can play things out that are more costly for cheaper. It does, but then it does cost in hand. But luckily, it's a draw leader, so it's going to be gaining you advantage from drawing every time it swings every turn, so you can keep a decent hand size. And especially when you go down to 3 or less life, you can bring an extra 5 cards from your life by taking yourself down to get to this point, which is quite nice. And red does have a fair few nice self-awakeners. But then we have to see, like, this leader already seems quite decent, but then we need to see what kind of cards it can get, because it all comes down to how strong it is compared to the red leaders we already got, based on what targets it's got for that effect. Because if there's not many good targets, then it's not going to be great. If there's some really good targets, it can be really good. So let me know in the comments below, like, what you think about this this lead. If you think it's great, if you think it's good, or hopefully we'll maybe review it back. We'll do a tier list when it gets to later on in the set, once we've seen a few more cards, or maybe do a tier list, just have a look at them, and then basically just grade them and see how we feel about that, and do one like we did before. So that is red out the way. Let's have a look at blue and see what we've got for blue. So for blue, after seeing the well, I think we had the Supreme Kai leaked, well, the Shin search here leaked quite early on in the reveals, so we didn't kind of, well, as we've seen some of the leads, we had Shin revealed and it showed about Potara, so there's kind of like some hype, some like view of it being Vegito, because it's like it seems to be around the Future Trunks saga, like Battle of the Gods kind of thing, like a super area of the franchise for blue. So people thought it might be Vegito, but in fact it is Zamasu, and it's not just Zamasu, it's fused Zamasu. So no, like the Goku Black, we haven't just got normal Zamasu, we got when they fuse together, Goku Black and Zamasu, and for quite a unique leader, because it's the second leader we've got where when it awakens it's a 25k base, so you can see on this front side it's 15k like Broly and 25k on its awakened side. But unlike Broly, it still doesn't have a way to draw, but it has some interesting effects. But as we've seen with blue, it's a very good recursion color. It doesn't need to have worry about having like a huge hand or much in hand, because it can keep recurring things and keeping a nice decent hand size. So the lack of draw can not be an issue with this this lead because of the color. But whereas if it was in like another color like red, it might struggle, and yellow it might not struggle, consider like the draw and stuff it's got now and self awakening. But in blue, it's probably decent, because depending on if Pilaf gets hit, or like how it gets hit, if it does, it could be this could be still a decent leader and not too bad in the color, because it still draws on the awakened side, or the unawakened side, sorry. So when it attacks, you draw one, but it doesn't gain that effect on the awakened side, because like having such a big power, normally you got to take away from it in some shape or form, so it takes away the draw. And its awaken is the same as Goku's, where when you're at 3 or less life, so you got to go down to 3 or less life to awaken, you draw a card and flip over, so at least you draw a card rather than Broly where you ramp, but then you are going down to a lower life. Then when you awaken, so the effect on awaken is you've got one effect, no like when attacking draw anything, and it is an activate main where once per turn by just like similar to Goku, paying one, discarding a card from your hands, so the same kind of thing. So this is almost like Goku, just a different stat, so it doesn't draw on awaken side, better stats, and the same awakening, and same kind of cost to its awaken side skill. But then the effect is, if your life is at 2 or less, you add the top card of your deck to your life. So this is quite nice to be able to just heal yourself every so often, and it's from the top of your deck to your life, not from your hand, which is nice. We're already taking a card from your hand by discarding a card, but luckily you can mitigate that by just going pay Pilaf, like ditch a Pilaf off it or an Earthling 1-drop, and then play Pilaf, grab it back, so you basically get the card back. It makes use of your energy, so you're not really losing anything from doing that, and then swing and then combo the Pilaf off on the swing or use it defensively. So it's not too bad. Like healing is not just like healing so far has just been exclusive to green with the 6-drop Gohan, but we can see now that healing is not a identity of green. It's basically a skill that even different colors can have now. So blue getting some healing on Zamasu is quite cool. And since it's a 25k base, your opponent's going to have to be always comboing up to try and push damage. And you draw on the front side and also have like good recursion stuff, it could be quite difficult to kind of push and have to like start losing hand trying to finish off as a mass, especially where every turn they can just go pay one, discard a card, and then just heal themselves a life, meaning it's going to be harder to push damage, especially when you got a combo up. So this all comes down to what happens if like there's any ban to anything, because I know people have been wanting Pilaf banned, because even though blue is not the most popular or the strongest color currently, it's still got one of the most busted combos and busted cards, but then people have been calling for a ban even though it's not been doing much. So this is blue, so it'll be interesting to see what his archetype does, to see how much, like, if this would be a better choice than some of the blue leaders to kind of like do something in the meta. So moving on the green, and green is one that kind of like people are excited about because it's Cell. So we get Cell in the lead in the deck. So we've got now for green, we've got 2 of the leads being Saiyans and 2 of the leads being Androids, which is pretty cool. So kind of have that little balance, and it's a little bit different than the current green leads, where it's actually got like it doesn't revolve around like sacking off your energy or anything like that, or certain energy. Well, it does require certain energy costs or certain energy amounts for things, but we need to see more of the archetype. But then it still is a decent leader. Like green still doesn't get a crit leader, so I don't know if it's because if they get a crit leader, it really struggle because it won't be drawing, and green wants to get to the late game, it can struggle in the early game. So we'll have to see if like maybe set 3 brings us a crit leader for green. But currently, it's got the same stats as the majority of the leads, being 15k on the front side, 20k on the back side. And it's just same Cell on both sides. It's not like evolving from the imperfect Cell to perfect Cell. So it just goes from perfect like Cell in its perfect form to its maybe its ultimate perfect form, where it's fighting Gohan. And then on both sides it draws as well, so it's never one that draws on both sides. Basically, just when attacking, draw 1. Like Waken is same as all a majority of leads, being when you has 4 less, draw a card flip over, and this is where its unique effect comes in. So it's activate main once per turn. If you have 5 energy, and it's 1 card with a cost of 3 from your drop to your energy, or 3 or more from your drop to your energy. So it's a free ramp. It's just a free ramp of when you get 5 energy, and up to 1 card with a cost of 3 from your drop to your energy. So free ramp there, go from 5 to 6. But where it just says 5 energy, it makes sense that you need to be exactly 5 energy. So I mean, this could be a deck that doesn't like wants a ramp but doesn't need to go past 5 energy really, like a ramp to 6 and sack it off and keep doing that. So maybe it's got more, this is going to be a deck that's more like focused on getting to like around like 6 energy to do things, but then like using effects to like cycle off your energy and then put it back, so that way every turn you're kind of making more use of the instant Kamehameha and things like that. So it might be a step away, like slowly stepping away from this 8-drop Broly, because that card is a strong one and one of the main things with green that is like helps in the mirror and stuff like that. But then it could be that you just have 5 energy unless the translation, because there's always a chance that with Bandai games there's a translation issue where they don't translate things properly, they don't quality check anything, and then things need to have errata, like we had it with Masters, or even other Bandai games like One Piece and Digimon, where they've had like errata issues, even before sets come out. There's a ton of erratas, like we had one set of Masters that had I think around 10 erratas before it even got released, and that was the majority of the cards, meaning that people picking up, it just made no sense how they played the deck with what was written on the card. So we had to get erratas, and we still haven't had reprints of it to have the correct text to this day. So it could be that you have to have 5 or more energy ramp cards. So it's a lead that just basically ramps itself. Like so once you're awakened, you can ramp yourself. It should be 5 or more energy, and you ramp, meaning that it's got a built-in ramp, but then it doesn't have any benefit, anything like getting extra power or anything like the other leaders do. But it could be just 5 energy, exactly 5 energy, and you can ramp. But then it revolves around a smaller, like a smaller number of like 6 drops and stuff like that, instead of like ramping up to 8 drops and stuff like that with like the rest of the green leads. So it'll be interesting to see. We should hold off and wait, but then we'll find out when we get closer to the set's release and get to see some nice cards from it. So that brings us to the last lead. So remember, there's 4 colors in the game, so the last one we have is yellow, and the yellow lead is a Vegeta. So we have a second Vegeta, but unlike Goku, he's jumped to a different color. He doesn't stay in the same color. He's been in blue, and now he's been in yellow. And this one is pretty interesting, but once again, depends on what new cards we see from the next set to make it more worthwhile, because currently, if you put into the set 1 meta with what his effect does, it doesn't really do too much. Because it's similar to the Cell, it's just got 15k on front side, 20k on the back side, but unlike Cell, it actually like transforms more in like imagery. If you didn't realize that Cell gets a super perfect Cell as well as perfect Cell, he goes from base Vegeta to SS Blue Vegeta, and he's got the when attacking draw 1 on both sides, so he's also a draw leader, so never draw leader for yellow. Same awakening as most of the leads as well, where 4 less life, draw a card flip over. But his unique effect when he awakens is an end of turn, similar to Frieza, but it's a little bit different because it switch up the 2 of your energy. Switch up the 2 of your rest mode energy to active mode instead of switching your battle cards. So it's like kind of reverse Frieza, where Frieza at the end of the turn can switch up the 2 of your battle cards to active mode, that are rest, whereas Vegeta switches up 2 of your energy to active mode from rest. So Frieza will untap 2 battle cards, Vegeta will untap 2 energy, giving us similarities like SS3 from Masters. But currently there isn't there isn't like the biggest incentive to kind of like play this, because this is more like there's no effect like battle cards or anything like that allow you to like play out or like use effects defensively, like in a combo. Well, in your opponent's turn in a combo anyway. But there are some like battle tricks, like extra card and stuff. But currently we've only got, I think it is, we've got 4 battle tricks. One is Supernova, which can only use offensively, so already use the option to use defensively is not available, so that leaves 3. And they're not the best. There's some nice ones, but not the best. You have Body Change, which allows you to rest one of your battle cards, then restand a 4 cost or less battle card on your board, like being able to restand block if it's blocked. So you got that, which isn't the best, depending on it all depends on setup. You've also got the one for the star deck being Death Ball, which allows you to give a 15k boost to a card for the battle, and then rest one of your opponent's battle cards 3 or less. That's not too bad. A nice little 15k boost plus resting a card disrupt things is kind of like Yellow's forte. And then the other one we've got is Bonds of the Ginyu Force, which heavily rely on how much Ginyu Force you run, because it gives you 10k power for the battle, and then gives you extra 5k for each Ginyu Force you have in your leader area or battle area. In addition to that, so if you have like multiple Ginyus, you can get like a really high boost. But if you just do it on its own, it's just a simple pen energy to give 10k boost or something. So it's not the best at the moment, but then set 2 could give us a lot more good ones to make use of Vegeta, because there always, and even in the future, if we get more and more for sets, it could be stronger. But currently, it's not the greatest, but then this is one that has potential to be better as we go on, because as we've seen, untapped energy in Masters is quite good, and it's something we don't have much of in this, outside of Cooler. If Cooler wasn't a crit leader, I imagine his effect would be a lot better, be able to run untap energy to give you more things to play. But those are the 4 new leaders we get and the 4 new challenges we get into the meta, and it'd be interesting to see what we have. But it's also going to be cool to see what cards come with it, to see if they improve on the effects that we've seen, and see what new tools we get for not just these leaders, but the ones we already have. So that is it from me. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.